Most people believe the biggest risk in retirement is simply living too long. But here's the surprising truth. The most dangerous years of retirement aren't the last ones, they're the first 5. This period, which is right after you stop working, is what we call the retirement danger zone. Why is it so dangerous? Because the decisions you make and the market conditions you face in those first 5 years can permanently shape the rest of your retirement. If you get it wrong, you could end up depleting your savings much faster than expected. Get it right, and you give yourself a foundation of stability that lasts decades. Today, I'm going to show you why those first 5 years matter so much, the 3 major risks you need to avoid, and the strategies that can protect your retirement from unraveling before it even begins. Hey there, I'm David Drummond, founding partner at DLD Financial Group. On this channel, I help Canadians, especially business owners and professionals, retire with confidence by building retirement income plans that maximize cash flow, minimize taxes, and protect against the risks that can derail even the wealthiest families. If you're approaching retirement, please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss these strategies. And if you want a personal plan for your own retirement, feel free to book a time with me using the link in the description below. Now let's talk about why the first 5 years of retirement can be the most dangerous of all. Part 1. Why the first 5 years are so fragile. When you're working, volatility is your friend. If markets drop, you're buying in at lower prices. You have time to recover. But once you retire, that dynamic flips. You're no longer contributing, you're withdrawing. This creates what's known as sequence of returns risk. Here's how it works. Let's say you retire with $1 million. You plan to withdraw $50,000 per annum to live on. Scenario 1, market goes up 10% in your first year. Well, that's great. You made $100,000. If you take out 50, you still have $1,050,000 left. But scenario 2, what if the market drops 20% in year 1? Suddenly your $1 million is only worth $800,000. You still need $50,000 to live on, so now you're down to $750,000. And here's the kicker. Even if the market rebounds 20% the following year, it's 20% on a much smaller base. You don't fully recover. That early sequence of returns, the order in which gains and losses show up, matters more than your average rate of return. This is why the first 5 years are the danger zone. Losses early in retirement can do permanent damage, while the same losses later on are far less harmful. Part 2, the spending shock. There's another problem that goes up in this stage. It has less to do with math and more to do with psychology. I call it the spending shock. Think about it. You spent your entire adult life saving, investing, and living off employment or business income. Then overnight, the paycheck stops. Suddenly, you're drawing down from your nest egg. The shift is stressful. And what I see with retirees is it often leads to extremes. Some people spend too much too fast. They feel like retirement is their reward, so they splurge. But overspending in those first years can compound with bad market timing to drain savings quickly. Others spend too little, terrified of running out. I've met people with millions saved who are still living as if they might go broke tomorrow. They miss out on the lifestyle that they worked so hard to achieve. Neither outcome is ideal. The goal isn't to hoard or burn through, it's to create structured withdrawals that give you confidence to spend what you can while protecting what you need. And that structure is especially important in the first 5 years when your retirement habits are being set. Part 3, the tax trap. Now let's add one more layer, taxes. Many retirees don't realize that their first 5 years are also the most important years for tax planning. And here's why. If you pull too much from your RRSP early, you might pay unnecessarily high taxes and trigger callbacks on benefits like old age security. If you avoid withdrawals altogether, you could end up with a massive RRSP balance that forces huge mandatory withdrawals at age 72. That can push you into the top tax bracket in your later years. Meanwhile, leaving your TFSA unused early on wastes one of the best tax-free compounding tools you'll ever have. In other words, both action and inaction can be costly. The right move is coordinating withdrawals between RSPs, TFSAs, and non-registered accounts, especially during those first 5 years. This balance sets the tone for decades of tax efficiency. Part 4, real-world examples. Let me bring this to life with 2 stories. Jim, the no-plan approach. Jim retired at 65 with $1 million in his RSP. He figured he'd just take $60,000 per year and live comfortably. Unfortunately, the markets dropped 15% his first 2 years. Between withdrawals and losses, his RSP was down to $720,000 by age 67. And by 72, when mandatory RIF withdrawals kicked in, his income pushed him into a higher tax bracket. On top of that, his OAS was clawed back. By his mid-70s, Jim's income was tight and his retirement lifestyle was more stressful than he expected. Now we have Sarah, the planned approach. Sarah also retired at 65 with $1 million, but she worked with an advisor to set up a bucket strategy. She kept 2 years of cash set aside, drew modestly from her RSP, and also pulled from her TFSA. When markets dropped in her first 2 years, she lived from her cash bucket instead of selling stock. When markets recovered, she topped up the cash. At 72, she had already smoothed out her RSP withdrawals, so the required RIF amounts didn't push her into a higher tax bracket. By her mid-70s, Sarah still had over $800,000, her OAS intact, and a lifestyle that felt sustainable and enjoyable. Same starting point, same $1 million, very different outcomes. Part 5, strategies to survive the danger zone. So what can you do to protect yourself in those first 5 years? Here are 5 strategies we recommend. Number 1, build a cash buffer. Keep 1 to 2 years of income in cash or short-term bonds. This lets you ride out downturns without selling at a loss. Number 2, use a bucket strategy. Divide your portfolio into near-term, mid-term, and long-term buckets. This creates a natural flow of income and reduces risk of panic selling. Number 3, coordinate withdrawals. Plan how much to pull from RSPs, TFSAs, and non-registered accounts. The order matters, both for taxes and for how long your money lasts. Number 4, stress test your plan. Ask, what happens if markets fall 20% in the first 2 years? A strong plan should hold up under that pressure. Number 5, really important, review regularly. Retirement isn't static. Meet annually with your advisor to adjust spending, taxes, and investments as your life evolves. The retirement danger zone is real. The first 5 years after you stop working are when your retirement is most fragile because market losses hit harder, spending habits get set, tax planning windows can close. But here's the good news. If you navigate this stage wisely, the rest of your retirement becomes far more secure. By building a cash buffer, structuring withdrawals, and stress testing your plan, you give yourself the freedom to actually enjoy retirement without the constant fear of outliving your money. The key is simple. Don't wing it. The first 5 years aren't the time for guesswork. They're the time for structure and planning. If you're within 5 years of retirement or you've just retired, this is the time to act. Book a time with us using the link in the description below, and we can help you build a customized retirement income strategy that makes the first 5 years of your retirement the most confident years, not your most dangerous. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me what your biggest worries were heading into retirement. Love to hear it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.